Oh my gosh. So just to let this all started with one of our members, one of you guys saying, what do I eat to boost my immune system? And that was a great question. And then Darely and I, as we do, pulled up our sleeves and started investigating the immune system, which, oh, that's easy. That's just a little system we have. Like everything else, everything works together. And it's really about how to eat to build resilient immune system. So I want to remind you, as wellness warriors, we talk about different pillars of your health, and we call it holistic health, where it's everything. So really there's sleep, there's stress, there's mindset, and they go together because that can relate to each other, movement, nutrition. And tonight we're going to try really hard to talk about just answer the question, what to eat to boost your immune system. And I want you to keep in mind that the immune system is your body's, what is it? It's your body's built-in defense and repair team that protects you from illness, fights off invaders, and helps you heal and stay balanced every day. And the most important, I'm going to read this one more time, and I want you to guess what part I think is the most important. Your immune system is your body's built-in defense and repair team that protects you from illness, fights off invaders, and helps you heal and stay balanced every day. Healing and staying balanced every day is what we want. And what we realized by doing this deep dive, and we're going to have another part 2 of this, and who knows, we'll probably have a part 3, depends how hungry you are and how much you crave knowing more about yourself. Under those 4 pillars, it all has to do with the immune system. And the immune system does not live in isolation. It responds to how you sleep. It responds to your stress. It responds to your movement, and it responds to what you eat. Sleep, that's when the immune system repairs itself and your memory formation happens. Stress, cortisol, inflammation regulation, we've talked about that. Movement, your immune system, the circulation of your immune system, and the anti-inflammatory signaling. And nutrition, it feeds immune cell production and trains the gut. So that is what we're focusing on tonight. Balancing your body, and how we can do that by feeding the immune cell production and training your gut to use it. So we're only talking about one pillar tonight, nutrition, and answering that one question: how do we eat to build more resilient immune system? So I just told you what it was. Your body's built-in defense, helps you stay balanced. But the key message here is that the immune system is not one organ, it's an ecosystem. And this is what blew us apart. Jolie, do you mind putting that graphic on?
Yeah, let me share that.
Welcome, everyone, by the way.
Oh, let me get out of here.
Your immune system, think of it as an ecosystem. And this slide blew me away. Okay, you've got I'm not going to name everything, but the bone marrow, the thymus, lymph nodes, spleen, blood, skin, gut. Approximately 70% of your immune activity is connected to your gut. Now, do you see that little guy? He's green and he's on the right-hand side of the screen. He's Peyer's patch. We're looking at this going, what the hell's a Peyer's patch? I've never heard of that before. And I'm sure hell didn't learn it in anything I've been certified in. And I'm willing to bet if you go to your physician next time, you say, hey, I was reading about the Peyer's patch. Tell me, what is it? I'd love to know if they even know what it is. So this is part of your immune system. Now check this out. It's located in the lining of the small intestine. It's like a border control. So this guy can stand there. All these guys can, all the little men inside the Peyer's patch, and they're border control. They monitor the bacteria. They monitor food particles. They help distinguish friend from foe, what's good for you and what's not. They train, this is wild, they train the immune tolerance, and they maintain balance and prevent overreaction. We just talked about the balance we're trying to get. We're trying to get a balance in our body. So the gut is not just digesting food. It's training your immune system every single day. So in order for us to boost the immune system, we have to look at what we're boosting. This is what I can't wait for Daryl to talk about because I think you'll love it. A strong immune system is not louder, it's smarter. It's not louder, it's smarter, you guys. For us to be balanced, we have to be smarter. We need the parts in, it starts on the inside. We've been telling you that. It has to be smarter. Boost actually means efficient, efficient, let's say immune cell production. It means balanced inflammation. We've talked about that. Strong gut barrier, healthy microbiome diversity. And we're going to talk about that. Remember the word diversity, and quick response and proper shutdown. And this all starts in our bone marrow. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Days do you wake up and go, well, what am I going to have for breakfast? I've got to make sure I feed my bone marrow. We don't. And bone marrow, the main part, we're talking about your hips, your ribs, your spine, your sternum. These all contain major stem cells, the master stem cells, red blood cells, platelets, white blood cells. And these white blood cells divide into different groups. And they, in some might sound familiar, T cells, B cells. And your body decides where they go. But one thing that's really super important is our thymus, and it shrinks after the age of 40. So that means fewer T cells, and that means our immune system starting to be, what's the word I want? Starting to be challenged a little bit more. So if bone marrow is the immune factory, what raw materials are we feeding it? And this is where Darley's going to go into nutrition, and definitely get a piece of paper and pencil. Definitely have your phone to take a screenshot. She will be giving you something else with a link, I believe, right, Darley?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just remember so far that immune system is just one part of our big body. And with traditional Chinese medicine, they look at the whole body and how it operates. They don't do what Western medicine does. They don't look at just the liver and just the kidneys, just the immune system. They look at the whole thing and how it works together. And that's why we're trying to help you look at your whole food plan, is what we're talking about tonight. And do you have diversity in it? Are you getting what you need? And we'll be summarizing this at the end. But as Daryl's talking, maybe you should take a piece of paper with what you need more of and what you need less of. And as she's talking, that's how it all starts. One little baby step at a time. I need to cook more at home and eat less at fast food places. That's the first step. No judgment. That's just the first step. I need to drink more water and less apple juice. But get that pen and paper out. How is everything we're talking about tonight relating to you? And then at the end, we can summarize and say, okay, what are 3 things you're going to do differently starting tomorrow, or maybe even tonight?
Cool. Good job, Laura. All right, so let's talk about food. I think you can see this okay. So again, it all starts with what we feed our body, what we feed, all of those organs that Laura's talking about, the inside the bone marrow, what all of those processes can use to make all the T cells and all of those that we need to help fight off, whether it be germs, whether it be cells that have gone bad. An immune system is involved in getting rid of all of that stuff. But it starts with protein. Protein is non-negotiable. You can get it from, of course, eggs, chicken, fish. I could have added lean beef in here. You certainly, red meats are, you should really kind of limit those. Greek yogurt, if you did not know this, Greek yogurt has 3 times the amount of protein that regular yogurt has in it. And the reason is because it's strained multiple times, so you get the most protein out of that. Tofu, which is made from soybeans. Tempeh is also from soybeans, but it's from fermented soybeans. And if you've never tried any of these foods, the tofu or the tempeh, and you would like to try it, please reach out to me because there's a few things that you need to know about them. Like tofu, you don't want to just open the package and eat it because it doesn't really taste that well. You really need to marinated and then prepare it. You're not just going to eat it plain like that. And even tempeh, I ate it a couple of times, didn't really care for it. And then I found out you're really supposed to steam it first for 15 minutes and then prepare it. So definitely better that way. So some of these things you need to know how to eat at them. All kinds of beans, chickpeas, lentils, black beans, kidney beans, nuts and seeds are all good protein sources as well. So it's really important to have a variety. So don't always eat chicken, don't always eat fish. You want to, and I'm going to talk about this more as we go on, but you definitely want to have variety. Like 70% of our immune system gets happens within our gut. The gut includes the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, everything that has to do with your digestive tract. And in order for your immune system to operate properly and to feed your gut microbiome, you need a variety of foods in your repertoire in order to feed all of the gut microbiome. So you may think, I just love chicken, so I'm just going to eat chicken all the time. That's not doing your body the best that you could do. It, the more variety you have, the happier your gut's going to be, and the better that your immune system can work for you. Fermented foods are also really important for that gut microbiome. And yogurt, of course, is one. Kefir, if you're not familiar with kefir, then it's a drink and it's like a yogurt kind of drink. It's can be either milk-based or water-based and it's fermented, so it tastes like a liquid yogurt. Kimchi is a drink. No, kimchi is a like sauerkraut. It's it's an Eastern an Asian drink, like Japanese. I'm not sure if it's Japanese. Do you know, Laura? It might
No.
be Japanese. I'm not sure. It's an Asian. It comes from an Asian country, and it's made from cabbage and carrots and things like that. It's usually a little spicy, but it is fermented, and a lot of times it's eaten alongside with a dish. Sauerkraut is another thing, really good. Again, if you can get it like fresh or if you want to make it yourself, it's going to be better than like a canned sauerkraut. Kombucha, that's the one I'm thinking of, is a drink. I love
Mm.
kombucha. Anybody else
Yummy.
drink kombucha?
Mm.
Yeah, and it comes in all different flavors, and it's just a fermented drink. Miso is again that's made from fermented soybeans, and it's used in a lot of Asian soups. There's a miso soup. It just has a really nice tang to it, and you can get a miso paste that you can add to stir fries and soups and things like that. And tempeh, I did talk
Generally,
about.
that kimchi is a traditional Korean side
Oh,
dish.
Korean. Thank you. Yeah.
But
Thank you,
here's
Laura.
what's really interesting. I was looking at these things thinking, what happens if I don't like any of these? Like only one. And I know we need diversity, but it said the Korean side dish consisting of salted, seasoned, and fermented vegetables. That's my keyword I might like. Most commonly cabbage and radishes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yum.
sorry. Somebody's looking for the Zoom link. I'm just sending it to them quick.
And I
Oh,
think you guys are talking about diversity, which you'll see why it's so important. But I'm just writing a note to follow up on this saying, so for example, I do like kombucha, I can, but not drink it every day. And then I only, because of milk intolerance and stuff, I have yogurt once in a while. Never have sauerkraut. Is that what you made that time, Daily? That's
yeah, I've made sauerkraut. Yes.
okay. It's not so bad when I eat it at her house. I just won't buy it. And then kefir, no. But for me and my body, I have to remember diversity, diversity. So even if I just have a little bit of yogurt, and later on in the week have kombucha. Then I've added the
Yes.
diver.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And then diverse plant foods, which are going to provide fiber and polyphenols, both are which are extremely important for a healthy gut for your microbiome. Your microbiome is really a bunch of bacteria in there that feeds on fiber. And when you have a variety, again, it's a variety of gut bacteria that can grow and do well. Polyphenols, those are from plant foods, and you find the most polyphenols in brightly colored foods like your berries, some of your fruits like pomegranate that are bright red, your mangoes that are bright orange, those kind of foods, your berries, your raspberries, strawberries, blueberries that are brighter colors, they have the most polyphenols, which again, just give your body the nutrients that it needs to do the work that we want it to do to provide us with a healthy immune system. So for vegetables, you want leafy greens, brassicas, which I never heard of that word before. It's the same as cruciferous, but brassicas, which are vegetables like broccoli and cabbage. Laura and I are always learning new things when we're doing our research for this. Onions, leeks, asparagus, peppers, carrots, mushrooms. So, again, a variety of vegetables. Fruits, berries, apples, pears, bananas, citrus, brightly colored options, there it is, provide the most polyphenols, the highest level of polyphenols. And then whole grains, oats, barley, brown rice, quinoa, wheat berries, whole grain bread, and pasta. Again, it's about variety. A lot of times we think of grains and we just think of rice, right? That's a grain that we eat probably more frequently than anything. You can have barley. There's another one that I really like. It's called farro, Farro, and it's like a barley. It's a thicker, heartier kind of grain than rice. It's really, I usually add either maybe a little bit of bouillon with it when I'm cooking it, or add some spices when I'm cooking it, just to give it a little more flavor. Or it's also really nice to have these grains if you're going to do like a stir fry and put a stir fry like over top of them so you have a little more flavor. Brown rice, quinoa, wheat berries, they don't have a lot of flavor just by themselves, but can be a wonderful addition to a dish.
And a quick reminder, Darely,
Yeah.
this word polyphenols, if you just can you go back one? What's super important to remember is it's a very natural protective compound found in plant foods that help reduce inflammation, you guys. And we've talked about inflammation, and it fights cell damage. And if anyone in here is over 35 or 40, we're trying to have our cells alive and working for us, not damaged. So to fight the cell damage, we're building up this defense system, which is what this immune system is about. To if you're not a plant eater, remember plants can be spices, they can be everything Darley's mentioning here, they can be nuts, she'll go on, but we just need to remember the polyphenols and us getting them in fresh food or flash frozen food, whatever, super important, especially if you want a healthy immune system. So just saying, important,
Yeah.
capital P on the polyphenols.
Capital P on those. Yes, for sure. So more plant foods. And actually, when Laura and I were both researching this, because we go into different medical websites and science websites and stuff like that, and it really did say a plant-rich diet. Doesn't mean just plants, but a plant-rich diet is a diet that has a lot of plant foods. And it's just something that we're hearing more and more every single day. If you keep up with what's new in the news and stuff like that, it's really everything is leaning towards these whole foods, plant-rich diet. It's just what makes a huge difference in the way our body is going to respond. And we've probably heard this before, you are what you eat. And the more just whole food, plant-rich foods you can eat, the healthier your body is going to be, the healthier your immune system is going to be. So legumes are basically beans like lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, soybeans, edamame, all of those. They also, I listed them as the proteins, but they're also huge fiber boost in your diet. And if you've been around our campfire at all, Laura and I always talk about fiber and protein as being so important. Nuts and seeds, walnuts. Walnuts are like really good for you. I never realized how good they are for you. Almonds, pistachios, hazelnuts, flax seeds. Flax seeds, one thing you need to know about flax seeds because they do come as just a little hard little seed. You really need to grind them in order for your body to be able to digest it. It's fine if you eat them whole like that. It's probably going to help with the fiber piece, but you're not really going to get the nutrients out of it. Our bodies aren't able to break that down. It's going to come out the way it went in. So you really want to grind it up. Chia seeds are really a fun thing to get used to eating. Took me a minute, honestly, to get used to eating chia seeds, but you can make like a really nice pudding out of chia seeds. They gel up tapioca, and it's again another just a good nutrient for your digestive, for your gut health. Pumpkin and sunflower seeds, they're all good. And again, it's variety. If you only eat walnuts, try something else some of the time. Don't always just eat walnuts. It's really about eating a variety. And then herbs and spices count as well. And when you think of spices, it doesn't necessarily mean spicy, hot and spicy. It just means a variety of spices. Garlic, onions, leeks, ginger. I love ginger. Any other ginger fans here? Turmeric is really good. Rosemary, oregano, cinnamon. My husband and I just started drinking cinnamon at night because he had heard, and I did a little research on it. It's supposed to be really good for your blood sugar, along with eating a healthy diet, but it can help sometimes with your blood sugar, dark chocolate, cocoa. I think the important thing here is that there's not a magic pill that you can take that's going to boost your immune system. There's not just one thing that you can do to boost your immune system, which is really why tonight is part one, and this is about the food. And then in 2 weeks, we're probably going to do a part two around the immune system. But it's not like you can just eat garlic and now you're going to be healthy, or you can just eat one or two of these things. No, it's about finding as many of these foods that you enjoy and start incorporating them into your weekly routine.
Daryl, can I share?
You sure can.
First of all, for those of you guys that need any kind of encouragement to definitely use spices, you remember our chat we had about parasites and so forth. So not just for your health, but for your entire gut health, how important spices are. But for those of you that, and this might be a little bit crazy to mention right here, but for any of you that have a bridge in your mouth with teeth fixed in, chia seeds, one thing I've learned is as long as I let them soak, I'm getting the same nutrients. As long as I let them soak in, and if I've got oats, or let them soak in yogurt or a little bit of goat's milk or anything I'm soaking them in, then I can absorb everything I need to from them, but they don't get stuck under my teeth. So I know it might sound like really silly to share that, but just so you
No,
know.
that's good. Yeah, I always soak my chia seeds. I put them in things like that. Yeah, I know I used to tell me you ate them plain. I never did that, Laura.
I did until they all got stuck underneath my teeth, and I was like, that's it.
Can't do that anymore. I'm sure you've heard of prebiotics. It's something that a lot of times people take prebiotics, and that's a good thing to do. It's the prebiotics actually help to feed the biotic system that's in your gut, right? It helps to feed all of those, your whole microbiome. So prebiotic rich foods include garlic, onion, leeks, shallots, asparagus, Jerusalem artichokes, which I believe are different than regular artichokes. I meant to look that one up. I forgot. I apologize, but I could look that up.
Here.
Can you look that up, Laura? Dandelion greens. My dad always used to eat those. We had to go out in the yard in the spring when they first came up, and we had to go cut him dandelion greens. Bananas, especially when they're slightly green. I actually prefer my bananas green. They're actually less calories, and they're a prebiotic food that way because there's less sugar in them before they turn really yellow. Apples are good, oats, barley, wheat bran, and seaweed. So, for you sushi lovers, the seaweed that you get. I know they make those little seaweed snacks. I'm not a fan of those, but I enjoy eating seaweed wrapped sushi.
It's Darlene, it's also called sunroot,
Oh,
sunchoke. It's a wild
oh,
sunflower.
sun.
And
Okay.
then is it good for you? Excellent source of potassium and good source of iron.
I've never seen them in the store though. Have you? Do you see them?
No, I've never. But it's when you look at them, they're really, it looks like it's a nutty vegetable. So it looks like a root, it's a root vegetable.
Okay.
So it looks like a root.
I'm gonna look them. I'm gonna see where I can get them and try them out. Okay. So this is foods to avoid for gut health, which in turn is for your immune health. Okay. It's just 100% related to each other. UPCs are ultra processed. Oh, UPFs, it's supposed to be, sorry. Ultra
Yeah.
processed foods, right? Ultra processed foods. We've talked about that plenty, but that is your fast foods. I don't like to pick on any particular brand, but McDonald's, Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken, whatever, any of those kind of fast foods where the food is like already made and they just cook it, zap it, whatever to cook it. Those are all ultra processed foods, as well as packaged snack foods, your cheese doodles, your chips, your even packaged cookies, unless you're buying them like from a bakery. But if you look at that ingredient list and it has a whole bunch of things in there that you would not, you don't recognize, or you wouldn't find it in your own kitchen, then it is an ultra processed food. And we really want to avoid or significantly reduce. So rather than saying avoid, we really should look at really reducing them as much as you can. So if that's a part of your routine, start trying to get away from the ultra processed foods and go towards the foods we just talked about, the just real whole foods. Refined sugars and grains, again, the white sugar, the white flour, and anything made with those, they're stripped of nutrients, and sugars really do cause a lot of havoc in our systems. It causes something called a metabolic dysfunction where because our bodies get if we're eating too much sugar, we are bombarding our system to make insulin to help stabilize the sugars, and then when we overtax it, that system isn't able to keep up anymore. And that's where type 2 diabetes comes from. It's just from really a lot of the ultra processed foods as well as the refined sugars. Artificial sweeteners are really not so good for us. And we might think we're doing better because we're staying away from the sugar and we're eating the artificial sweeteners. But most of the science shows that artificial sweeteners really are not that good for us. And there are some additives like some emulsifiers and some thickeners and things like that that really are not good for us. And I used to buy the almond milk or cashew milk in the containers until I started reading the labels, and they have a lot of those emulsifiers and it's a thickener, and those really are not so good for us. So I just make my own now. Which is super simple. If you like almond milk, all you do is you soak your almonds in some water for a couple of hours, throw them in a blender, and then you just strain them. And you can get it like on Amazon. It's called like a nut bag. It's a just a thin kind of bag. It's like a to strain it so you don't have all that junk. But anyways, if you like almond milk, that's what I would recommend you do rather than buying it in the carton. Deep fried foods, another thing, is just it's not good for our systems. Excess alcohol, and this is something that's becoming more and more in the here and now, is that excess alcohol, even moderate alcohol use, is known now to not be helpful for our digestive tract, for our gut health. And then excess red and processed meats. Again, a little bit here and there is really going to probably be okay, but all of these foods you really should start reducing if you're looking for immune health, for gut health, for overall energy and all of that, right? Because the immune system is related to all of that. The number one tip for strengthening your immune system through food is to eat 30 different plant foods over the course of a week. I know I've shared this with people that I've worked with in the past, and at first people say, "Are you kidding me? How can I eat 30 different plant foods?" And it's really not as hard as it sounds. And I'm gonna show you. I have a food plan, a kind of a menu plan here. But even like Laura said, spices. So if you're using different spices, they count because that is a plant food. You're using cinnamon, you're using turmeric, you're using oregano, you're whatever kind of spices that you're using throughout the week, you count them as well. And when you do, this is going to help again build that microbiome because different bacteria feed off of different plant foods. And if you can eat 30 different plant foods across the week, and then next week, not that you need to make all 30 of them different, but try to find some additional plants rather than doing the same 30 plants week after week. The idea is to get variety, and that's really when you eat stuff that's in season, that's really important as well because then you're changing it up. Try some new plants, try some new spices, try just some different vegetables, some different fruits that you don't normally eat. Like I am not a big fan of blueberries, but I would say probably every other month I buy frozen blueberries and I throw them into my smoothie or I throw them into my when I'm making oatmeal or something like that. And I don't hate them. If I hated them, I wouldn't eat them at all. They're just not a favorite of mine, but I know how good blueberries are. Again, it's one of those blue polyphenols that you can get from many other plants that have that color in it. So again, it's just being mindful of the foods that you're eating and where can I pick up different foods so that I can build this gut microbiome, which in turn builds your immune system. And so I have a 7-day plant variety meal plan here. I'm gonna drop the link for this, but I just wanted to show you what it can look like. For breakfast, you could have rolled oats with soy milk, banana, blueberries, walnuts, chia seeds, and cinnamon. There's 7 different plants right there. And then at lunch, if you had mixed greens, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, carrots, chickpeas, olive oil, lemon, black pepper. Again, you've got 8 new plants. And then for dinner, you had brown rice, salmon, and veggies. So your brown rice, your broccoli, red bell pepper, garlic, ginger that you put on your veggies. There's you have 13 different plants by the end of day 1. And then here's day 2. You have some spinach in your smoothie. You put spinach, frozen mixed berries, flaxseed, and oat milk. There you go. Depending on how many different kind of mixed, how many different berries were in there, you may have up to 16 unique plant foods. A lentil soup with onion, carrots. You guys get the idea, right? This has you by the end of 2 days, just following this kind of method, you'd have 25 different plants already in just 2 days. And then this gives you third day, puts you way past the 30, and then gives you ideas as your days go on. And just a nice little checklist here. And I'm going to drop that link so everybody can have a copy of this. I'll drop it in the comments. It'll also be in the email as well. Is this Laura? Okay, let me grab that. Any questions?
I was just going to mention it's so interesting about a little of this and a little of that. And a variety is so key because the diversity back in your gut, you need to have the diversity of the microbiome. And it's like a community. And That's why if you're on a certain pre or probiotic, you should switch it up once in a while. You want to keep everything active down there. And something as simple, I was just looking up salmon because I love salmon, but just looking up salmon, eating that once a week, you're talking those, I mean, I take omegas, plant-based omegas, but your besides your immune system, your lungs, your blood vessels, your heart, your eyes, and your brain all need the omega-3s. And knowing that our cells, and we're really trying to work with the cells in our body and make small changes. Just when Daryl, you and I were talking about even today with, say, for example, you went crazy and had ultra processed foods, whether you went to a fast food place or you ate out and you had a packaged pizza, not even quite sure if the cheese is real. My gosh, enjoy it. But then the next couple days, just be super, super clean. And your body will thank you. The other thing I want to mention about your excess alcohol, what does that mean? Because it's one thing to give you all these guidelines, but what does it mean? Nothing wrong with you guys having a glass of wine. Nothing wrong with you having a drink. It's when it becomes where you're having three, two, three, four, and it's a regular thing. It's like you going to Burger King on a regular basis. I'm just saying next, we have one. So just if we can just change it up a little bit and have the diversity during the week. So maybe you're like, you've got to be kidding. I have to pick up my lunch every day. I don't have time to make it. Okay, why don't you pick up lunch one day and then buy something that you can recreate and have ready for the next day lunch and just plan out your meals. I can't encourage enough how important this word diversity is. And just for you to feel better. And I put in the chat, I want you to be thinking how, as we share this, how do you want to feel being the best version of yourself? Daryl, you might not have been able to answer that question back when you were 50, 60 pounds heavier because you didn't have the best version of yourself. When you can squat, I see someone squat down, help a kid with their shoes. I'm like, I want to make sure I can squat down and help someone with their shoes. So if you guys pick what's important to you and just start making those small changes. There was one more thing you talked about I thought was so cool.
I wanted to say something also, Laura. If anybody is having trouble coming up with how to prepare like meals in advance so you'd have something quick to bring for your lunch or whatever like that, then jump on a call with me and I would be happy to help you with that and brainstorm, look at what kind of foods do you like? How can we use what you like and create it into meals that will work that you can take with you or you can batch cook. Sorry, I put the wrong one, the wrong link in here. So that was the chickpea chopped salad wrap, which was delicious, by the way. So that recipe you're getting also. But then I think I put the right one in here. It is the 7-day plant variety meal plan.
Well, Daryl, what did you say you use almond milk for? Because Sheridan's asking, what do you recommend as a substitute for almond milk?
Oh, for a substitute for almond milk?
Yeah. Or were you just talking about how to make almond milk?
No, I was just talking about how to make it rather than buying it in the carton because you think of almond milk as something being healthier, but it's always got carrageenan in it. It's got different kinds of emulsifiers in it and things like that. If you want to use almond milk instead of regular milk, a lot of people do fine with dairy and use typical cow's milk, which is fine. But I was just saying, if you wanted to make your own, you just soak almonds. It's 3/4 of a cup of almonds. And you soak it in water for a couple hours, and then you put it in a blender with 4 cups of water, and it'll create almond milk for you. So that's all I was saying. I use it in my smoothies. I use it in my oatmeal. I use it if I don't bake that often, but if I do bake something, a lot of times I'll use almond milk instead of regular cow's milk.
The other thing you mentioned,
Did that answer your question, Sheridan? As a
No,
substitute? Yeah. No.
I am not the type. Can you hear me rather than me messaging?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
I'm not the type of person to make almond milk, but I love it and I purchase it in a carton all the time. I didn't realize it wasn't good for me.
It just has additional ingredients. The next time you go to buy it, check out the ingredient list. There are some brands that have less. I think there's some that they're called just almonds or just nuts kind of milks. I don't know if you can get the, just look at the ingredient list and you'll see that it does have a lot of extra ingredients in it. That's all. And again, if that's the only thing you're eating that's got extra stuff in it, then, it's probably okay. It's not a big deal. Laura?
Enjoy it.
Yeah, you have to find a balance of what works for you and what doesn't. I try to eliminate as much as I can of the additional kinds of chemically ingredients. I don't eliminate all of them either. So I just do the best I can.
And you talked about, what do you call them, sweeteners, sugar sweeteners. And just to mention that stevia, which you do is plant derived. However, here again, you guys, and I have stevia, and I can't wait to go check the box. It's minimal impact on blood sugar, generally neutral for gut bacteria. However, you've got to see if they mixed it with anything else. So if it's pure stevia, pure extract, fabulous. The other thing I want to mention was, of course, we're in the Cayman Islands, as in some people are here too. And you've got winter going on, you guys, fresh vegetables they have a 48-hour high nutrient dense value. And then after 48 hours, I would say even less than that, the nutrient value goes down. That's why if you buy fresh veggies, and some of you in Grand Cayman can relate to this, if you buy them like 2 days later, they look dead because it's 2 days later. So flash frozen veggies are great. So you can keep some of the nutrients. And to put it in perspective, in 1954, 1 cup of spinach was a superfood, had everything we needed. Now, 70 something years later, you need 74 cups of spinach to equal the 1 cup of nutrients. And a lot of that has to do with the soil, the toxins in the air, how they're feeding the spinach. And in the newsletter, I will have Dairyly drop a link for you. For any of you that want to grow your own veggies, I work with a company called Juice Plus, and I have for years, where we have towers where you can grow your own veggies and fruit, and there's no soil involved. But also, I get and have gotten for over almost 20 years now. Yeah, I get over 34 fruits and vegetables and berries in my body every day. I happen to take, they're all in capsules. If I open a capsule and pour it on the table, the veggie capsule, pour it on the table, it's all veggies. And I get a variety of a whole bunch of them. So it's my way, especially where I am I'm bridging the gap between what I should be getting and what I'm not getting. And I love that statement, whether I'm having gummies or a capsule. The reason I love that statement is because I have to remind myself every day, everything we talked about tonight, am I bridging the gap between what I should be getting and what I'm not getting? And if I'm not having a product that helps, am I getting the right vegetables? Am I getting the variety? Am I getting the diversity? Luckily, Dairyly doesn't make me eat tofu all the time, but I just got to learn how to cook it first, Dairyly. But to get that variety, and I think just even when you talked a couple of masterclasses ago, Dairyly, about what a good thing it is to actually on a Sunday night plan your meals, cook them ahead of time. And for all of you ladies out there that are busy, just to have that meal, make it for 2 meals when you make it, so you can go in the fridge and eat it later, eat it the next day or the day after, and just planning how we're going to fuel our bodies every day. And then we'll remind you every day in the Facebook page how to move them. And
That's right. Get in there. Do Laura's workouts, because the best part of Laura's workouts is that you're not going to be on there for a half hour. They're usually like 8 to 12 or 15 minutes, a perfect amount of time just to get in there and get moving. And you can always find 8 to 12 minutes to do a little bit of movement. And speaking of your immune system, that lymphatic system that we know about, right, Laura, is a big part of our immune system. And that lymphatic system does nothing unless you're moving. There's no pump involved. So we need to move to make that work. And yeah.
We know part 2, it'd probably be 3 and 4. will be coming up in 2 weeks. You guys, the link for the call is in there, whether it's Darely directs that. So if you want to jump on a call and I can tell you how to move in your office or in anything to do with motivating you to take a step, whether it's you don't want to get out of the chair and it's chair yoga to what to choose to eat. How do I possibly get exercise when it's snowing out? There's so many options out there, but unless you're networking and brainstorming with someone, you never think of it. And that happens to me all the time, just with, and we're talking about cooking, and I forget, oh, I should go to that app that Darely put together for us, the membership, and just say, this is what I have in my fridge. What can I make? And in 4 seconds, I know what to make. So we want to help as much as possible. Jump on a call, and you have that link there. Grab everything. Newsletter tomorrow will be full of good stuff for you.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for jumping on, and we'll see you all real soon.
Yeah, thank
Bye-bye
you.
now. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys. Thank you.